All right, let's go on to the next block because I think this story is absolutely extraordinary and reveals how much personal relationships corrupt important journalism. Put this tear sheet up on the screen from NPR. This is quite a report. So their headline is, "The FBI raided a notable journalist's home. Rolling Stone did not tell readers why." And as I said up at the beginning of the show, we actually covered this when it happened because it was a crazy story. Rolling Stone got the scoop that this very well-known national security reporter had the FBI raid his apartment building. And in the piece, they really led you to believe that the reason probably had to do with his work. So they indicated he may have had some classified documents on some of his devices. Obviously, that's a huge deal because you're talking about, okay, the Biden administration is rolling up on this important journalist. Like, what is going on here? Saagar, behind the scenes, his spidey senses immediately went up just because of the way this all went down, and also because some of the details, like, for example, his employer, ABC News, didn't defend him. Okay, that was a real red flag. His publisher immediately drops his book deal. And because of the show of force here, we didn't say it publicly because you don't want to just casually accuse someone.
You can't just say it.
Having kitty porn, but you were like, this kind of sounds like he may have,
It was that. It was ABC not defending him, but also whenever they're like, they seized a lot of his servers. I, unfortunately, as I've said before, used to cover a lot of DOJ prosecutions, so I've read a lot of indictments. I know what the raids look like whenever they go in, like, against a terrorist, and unfortunately, I've also had to cover some cases where the FBI will storm in and take somebody's servers because they suspect them of being involved in the distribution of child pornography, and this looked like an open and shut child porn case, like as I was reading the details. Again, I cannot say that up on the air.
Yeah, we can't say, hey, you can't just like float. We're not like Trump. We're not going to just float some groomer allegation. It doesn't have anything to back it up.
I was like, it really does look like child porn, but, you never know.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it was child porn, so there you go.
So the reporter on the story, a woman named Tatiana Siegel, who now has left Rolling Stone, it looks like because of this whole situation, she actually had the story. She had a source that said it looks like there was child sexual material that they were going after. She had lines in the piece to indicate that. And there was immediately a tension between her and Rolling Stone editor-in-chief Noah Shachtman. By the way, she says, and I think colleagues around her said, that normally he wouldn't get involved in editing her pieces to this level, but he right away is involved. Then she had a family emergency that pulled her off right before the piece is set to publish, that sort of pulled her off of it. And he's like, don't worry, I got it. He strips out any of the language indicating that this was anything other than having to do with his work. James Gordon Meek, by the way, is the name of the reporter. His work as a national security reporter. And again, really slants the piece towards making you think like, oh, it's because he's got classified documents or something like that. Well, lo and behold, Shachtman has multiple connections to this guy, sort of personal and professional relationship, very like clubby kind of a situation there. Also, Shachtman's lawyer had called him directly, and this was another personal friend of, James Gordon Meek's lawyer called Shachtman. This was another personal friend and personal connection here. And so it sure looks like they sandbagged this piece and pulled out the most critical part of the reporting in order to cover for this dude. And another outlet ultimately, started really reporting this out and ended up getting the scoop. So they lost really the story, and they did some subsequent reporting, but just quite extraordinary to see the way that they apparently covered for this guy, especially given what he is accused of because of personal and professional relationships.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me Rolling Stone magazine would publish a factual error? That would never happen, right? Look, as I said at the time, I was like, it's certainly extraordinary. The guy's done some important work. But it would be in violation of a 2021 Justice Department rule that says that you're not supposed to raid and seize the materials of journalists. I was like, it has to be clearly. I mean, look, on the one hand, it was like it could have been something that genuinely was a violation, national security related. On the other, again, looking at the case, I was like, it does look a lot like how the FBI acts whenever they do a child porn raid. But the fact that they didn't put that in there, even though they had a direct source, and if you look at all the details, Krystal, he didn't put a photo of the guy. Right? He was like, no, let's put a photo of the FBI, not of the photo of the reporter. He's basically covering him for him from day one. And then it comes out later on that it was child porn related the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do that. You're basically stoking conspiracy connections, maybe even rightfully, right? If you don't know the details, and they never intimated that they had any idea what the connection was when they actually did. So it was a huge disservice, not only to their readers, but to everybody. And rightfully, I think, exploited people's fears about press freedom, who were on alert, people like us, when if we had known or if others had known, it would have been a totally different story.
Absolutely. Yeah. And just to give you some of the horrifying details of the type of individual that he was covering for, on February 1st, when the Justice Department unveiled criminal charges against Meek related to images of child sexual abuse, among other accusations, authorities say Meek shared a video showing the rape of an infant. That's who you're covering for. Ugh. He denies wrongdoing, plead not guilty, etc. He's sitting in federal custody right now, awaiting trial. That's who you covered for. Disgusting.
I don't even have words for that one. Yeah, look, and also another thing I know from covering a lot of those cases, they only raid your house if not only do you have a lot of that material, but you're one of those people, one of those sick freaks who like sells it on the dark web. Like they only really, their strategy, I think correct, is they go after people who have some of the most heinous material, people also who are distributors. A lot of these freaks, they like trade it amongst each other and they like sell it, and they get connected with brokers and stuff in Eastern Europe and all. It's repulsive, sick system. And anyway, those are the top targets for the FBI. So that was another reason why, looking at it, I was like, man, they really only raid your house and they make you a top priority if they identify you as like high up in the distribution ring of material like this. So whatever look, allegedly, all of that, although if convicted, he'll rot in jail for the rest of his life. Rightfully so.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.